Laila Tov. And Laila Tov, Felix and Karina. Ah, Laila Tov. And there's my sound. And Laila Tov, Felix. Ready to turn off. Okay, there we go. My phone has been ringing off the hook all day because today must be spam day or robocall day or something. I don't know. We get something from telephone. We get something from something that's all zeros. We always have a call from Whittier or Placentia. That's here in California, but it's nuts. Okay, today our Torah portion this week is Pinchas, which is kind of an interesting one. It's about a man who kills a couple that are in flagrata, I think that's the term, on the temple grounds, on the tabernacle grounds. He takes a spear and he drives the spear through both of their bodies. And that was the very end of last week's Torah portion. So this week the Torah portion is all about him and his reward / punishment. I'll explain that when we get a little further along. Let's see. Shir hallelujah, Havana shira, shir hallelujah. That's gonna be too high. Oh, yeah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. I think what I did is I went to the wrong key and just put the capo on so that it was just a smidgen too high. I'm going to try it back in the other key. Down. It's a pretty song, and it's there's a theory among musicians that the melody was actually written by Mozart. It's done as a round. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Havana shira, shir hallelujah. Still too high, isn't it? Havana shira, shir hallelujah. 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 Former soprano, now mezzo, who still has some low tones left, but not many of the high ones. Okay. I could still do it if I prepare for it, but I'm not, definitely not prepared. I don't know where, and I should find out because I've been accounting now for some 35 years, 36 maybe, yeah. Um, where the tradition of the Nigun found its way into Jewish tradition, Jewish musical tradition. Just doing die bye bye or die 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 la 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 la, bim bim bim, bum 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 stuff. There are a couple of, there's this one that I just did that was, Debbie Friedman wrote that. As far as I know, it's the only nigun she wrote. Although in her Havdalah service, she does a nigun as a part of the blessings. And let's see, how does that go? Offhand, can't remember. But she does that, and then she says the blessings, and then she does a little of the nigun, and she comes back to the blessing. The first nigun I learned was at Hillel, when I was an office manager at Hillel at USC. And that one went, die da die da die da die da die 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 da die da die da die da die. Die da die da die da die da die 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 da die da die da die da die 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 la 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 la. Lie, 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 la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie. There's another one that's a little, that one I learned from Rabbi Laura Geller. And she said she couldn't sing. She could. She can carry a tune very easily. It's just she had a very deep voice. And I was a soprano, so I was always having to sing about an octave higher than she. She'd start, die, 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 die. Okay, there's another one that's a little happier. It goes, die, 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 die. Die da die 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 die. Die da die 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 die. Die da die 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 die. Die 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 die. Die 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 die. Die 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 die. Die 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 die. Etc., etc. those are the three main ones I know. I know Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach wrote many nigunim. Nigun is a nigun is. I know what it is. I just don't know what the, yes, very Hasidic. I don't, tell me something, Felix. Are there nigunim in the Sephardic tradition? I'm sure there must be. I think it's way older than just the last few hundred years. There aren't any. Ah, okay. Huh. But interestingly, the Sephardic melodies, since I was married to a Sephardic man for 18 years, he always said that the Sephardic melodies were much happier, more lilting than the Ashkenazic. The Ashkenazic tended to be kind of somber, more somber. Hi, Candy. Is it up to 110 yet out there? It's not too bad today. Today it was hot. It's in the 80s, I think, here. But there's a really nice, as you can see behind me, maybe you can't. There's a really nice breeze. You celebrate life with colors. I have to remember that. That's, the imagery is amazing. The musical colors. The colors of music. Wow. Okay, I'm going to do, this song is also by Debbie Friedman. Why do I do so many of hers? Because they're pretty. 108, almost there. Singing to God, which is it's based on Psalms 96, 98, and 149. Sing unto God, sing a new song, oh sing praises to God, give thanks to God with a song, oh sing praises unto the one. Let us rejoice, all ye righteous, and cry out to our God with joy. Sing out from your hearts, oh sing praises to God. Bless God's name, oh sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Bless God's name, oh sing unto our God a song of prayer. Sing praises to the one. Sing unto God. Sing unto God, sing a new song, oh sing. Sing unto God, sing a new song, oh sing. Sing unto God, sing a new song unto God. Sing a new song to God. Sing a new song to God. 108, where in Portugal? Okay. I redid my, wait a second. I redid some of the music, and I'm now going to have to go and get my other book. And I finally sent in today, just before I started streaming here, I sent in my new Ma'ariv Siddur, and maybe we'll get it by next week. right on the 4 o'clock button, I hope. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet kulanu yachad. I gotta change the page. 3. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet kulanu yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet kulanu yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet kulanu yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim 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 shevet kulanu yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Shalom, everybody. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Hine ma tov manayim. 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 Shevet kulanu yachad. 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 Okay, page 4. Wow, we have a Candy. Danielle is with us now, and Sue and Troy. Welcome, Troy. How's your ankle? I broke my foot one time. Had something called a stress fracture from falling down some stairs while carrying luggage in a darkened, unlighted parking garage. And then I had to stumble all the way back, all the way over to the hotel where I was staying on a broken foot, which was a ways. I was at a cantorial conference in Monterey, and I had dropped off my mother and at the lobby, and then went and parked. And by the time I got back to the lobby, they had me put my foot up. They called an ambulance, and I had to go to the hospital. And yuck. It was a mess. Okay, page 4, the Baruch. Baruch et Adonai hamivorak. Baruch Adonai hamivorak leolam va'ed. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Troy. That would be great. Okay, page 5. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Hello, Ruth. I'm glad you're here. Page 6, the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohim Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Page 7. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Page 8 to Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lektecha b'derech ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Page 9. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Page 10. I am Adonai, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem emet. V'micha mocha, page 11. Micha mocha. Adonai, mi kamocha nedar hakodesh, Torah tehilot, o seifele, mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar hakodesh, Torah tehilot, o seifele, Chatzi Kaddish, page 12. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei kol beit Yisrael, bagala u'v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olam me'amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yikbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kodesha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. The Amidah begins on page 14 with the Avot ve'imahot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'imo אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. I'm sorry guys, something happened to my screen. If you're all still there, and I hope you are, I'll be back. Okay. Oh dear. Something like this happened last week. Darn. Okay. Let's see, I think I was on page 14. 15. I'm on page 15 now. Okay. I am sorry. Page 15. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברקמים רבים. סומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני נקיים הכל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. the Kaddish Shalem, page 17. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברכנותי וימליק מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עולמי עמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו. לילה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונקמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובאותון דכל ישראל, קודם אבוהון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Okay, we're going to do a little Torah service now. What did I do with it? There it is. The Chumash that I'm using today, in the past couple of weeks I've used the Eitz Chaim, which is a wonderful, wonderful book. But this one is a women's commentary, which gives a whole different perspective on stuff. As I said before, this parsha is about Pinchas. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. In the triennial cycle, we begin in Numbers 28, verse 16. Uvachodesh harishon be'arba'a asar Yom lachodesh Pesach l'Adonai. Obviously, this particular Torah portion, Pinchas, is used at several different holidays, including, I think, in the high holidays it's used, but also for Passover, obviously. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, there shall be a Passover sacrifice to Adonai, and on the 15th day of that month, a festival. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. The first day shall be a sacred occasion. You shall not work at your occupation. You shall present an offering by fire a burnt offering to Adonai. 2 bulls of the herd, 1 ram, and 7 yearling lambs. See that they are without blemish. The meal offering with them shall be of choice flour, with oil mixed in. Prepare 3/10 of a measure for a bull, 2/10 for a ram, and for each of the 7 lambs prepare 1/10 of a measure. And there shall be 1 goat for a occasion offering to make expiation in your behalf. You shall present these in addition to the morning portion of the regular burnt offering. You shall offer the like daily for 7 days as food, an offering by fire of pleasing odor to Adonai. They shall be offered with their libations, in addition to the regular burnt offering. And the 7th day shall be a sacred occasion for you shall not work at your occupations. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nat. That's the Haftarah, isn't it? I've been teaching that particular blessing, the blessings of the Haftarah, to my trope class. So I sort of automatic. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Okay, obviously, the part that I read you had nothing to do with Pinchas. However, let's go back and pick up what he did. Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest. Pinchas was Aaron's grandson, in other words, has turned back my wrath from the Israelites by displaying among them his passion for me, so that I did not wipe out the Israelite people in my passion. The problem was that the fellow that, the Jewish guy that Pinchas killed, was making love with a princess of a neighboring tribe, not an Israelite. I think she was, I believe she was a Moabite princess. And God became angry and sent a plague and killed about 24,000 people. But Pinchas, in witnessing the sexual act of this couple on the grounds of the tabernacle, pierced them both with 1 spear, killing both of them, and as a reward, so to speak, God made him, gave him what is called a covenant of peace. He was given the task of being a Kohen. He was in the line of Kohanim, having been Aaron's grandson, but he had not practiced the Kohanimic duties. So there was a question by many of the rabbis who thought perhaps rather than smiting him or punishing him, that God would make him a priest. There is a theory that Pinchas had been a very troubled young man. He was didn't exactly know what he wanted to do with his life. But then when he saw this act, he took it upon himself. Really? Troy says they say that Pinchas came back as Elijah. That's not a surprise. That would make a whole lot of sense, actually. But there is a theory that it was considered more of a punishment, that for him to be dedicated to the working at the temple, to give him purpose, also would be a way of saying, okay, you will live because of this, but you will also dedicate your life to God, basically. And Pinchas's reward, it says that in this one place, Pinchas's reward, permanent priestly leadership. And it talks about the culprits. God rewards Pinchas with hereditary priesthood, elevating him above other descendants of Aaron. Why? The reason seems to be Pinchas's swift and ruthless response to adultery. Unlike his grandfather Aaron, who collaborated with idolaters in the infamous case of the golden calf, Pinchas demonstrates unflinching loyalty to God. He thus restores the stature of priests as deserving mediators between Israel and God. Although God had ordered death for all the ringleaders, Pinchas satisfies God's demand for punishment by the single act of slaying 2 leaders. He thereby causes less rather than more bloodshed. The covenant of peace. In Numbers 6, God requires that the priests transmit blessings of peace, which is the beginning of and one of the reasons for the priestly blessing, the threefold priestly blessing. According to later narratives, Israel's chief priests descended from Pinchas rather than from Aaron's other descendants. So, and this is the first time that anything like the names of the culprits was published, so to speak, in the Torah. For the first time, the narrator discloses the name and rank of Pinchas's victims. Zimri was the Israelite man, and Cosbi, she was Midianite. There was also, I remember reading an account that Pinchas was also somewhat descended from Yitro. Yitro, who had been a Midianite priest, he had also served other gods, so to speak. Yes, he did become, in the eyes of Judaism, Yitro became a convert to Judaism, and then he left the Israelites, went back to Midian to teach Judaism to the people. But because of his somewhat sporadic practices earlier in his life, was also another reason for Pinchas, if he was descended from Yitro, to have more purpose in his life. Interestingly, Cosby, her name derives from the Hebrew Kalef Zayin Bet, which means lie or falsehood. And it's because they came from both of them came from leading families. It was an even greater crime. So I like the idea that he came back as Elijah. You know, it's interesting. One of the more interesting aspects of Judaism that I have found. I spoke with a rabbi many years ago. I was kind of a fill-in cantor for him, and he told me he's the one that told me first about the fact that traditional Jewish people believe in reincarnation, that every soul that stood at Sinai has been reincarnated into converts to Judaism. They already have a Jewish soul, in other words, like me, and were already Jewish in their minds, and I believe I was. So that Pinchas came back as Elijah? Sure, absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful expression. Thank you, Troy. Okay, page 18, Aleinu. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. It is our duty to praise the Master of all, to offer greatness to the fashioner of creation, who has not made us like the nations of the land, and who has not placed us like the families of the earth, who has not placed our portion with them, nor our lot with all of their multitude. We bow and prostrate and acknowledge the ruler of rulers, the Holy One, blessed be God. שמו אחד, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך בכל הארץ, היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, Adonai, our God, let them pay homage. Let them give glory to your honored name. Let all accept the yoke of your reign, that you may rule over us, soon and forever. For sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written in your Torah, Adonai will reign forever and ever. Thus it has been said, Adonai will become sovereign of all the earth. On that day, Adonai will become one, and God's name will be one. That's correct, Troy. That's right. Okay, on behalf of the sick, the names that we want to be remembered for healing, you can write them in anytime. We are grateful, O God, for the gift of life and for the healing powers that you have implanted within your creatures. Sustain our loved ones through these days of illness with courage and fortitude they need to endure weakness and pain. Help us to find ways to show our love and concern for them, so that we may be an influence for good in their time of need. And may all who suffer illness of body or mind know that you are with them, giving them strength of spirit as they struggle to recover. May their afflictions soon be ended, and may they return in health to family and friends. We want the names remembered for healing: Clara, Ernestina, Carrie, Fuzia, George, Valerie, and Albert, and Joseph and Mary Aronofsky. For Karina, we want the names remembered: Martina, Ana, Pablo Ignacio, Dana, Andrea, and Nieves. For Sue, Russell, Amber, Marlene, Glenda, and Frida. And for Candy, we want to remember the names Robin, Peggy, and David. And for Ruth Elisheva, Ruth, Laverne, Jackie, Joyce, Gina, and Julia. And I want the names remembered: Tom Pontak, Joseph Chavez, Lynn Herman, and that's it. And for Ruth, also for Cynthia. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hachulim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals the sick. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeira imotenu Bekor Abraham renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And for the mourner's Kaddish, I noticed in the paper yesterday and today that someone died that kind of was, I never met her, but she was a friend of my dad's for many years. Her name was Marnie Nixon. And for those of you who don't know who she was, if any of you ever saw My Fair Lady, or The King and I, or West Side Story, Marnie Nixon was the singing voice for Natalie Wood, Deborah Carr, and Audrey Hepburn. My dad knew her. My dad was he was a studio singer, and so was Marnie. Marnie did all of those dubbings, they're called. It's not voiceover, not in those days, but they were not allowed, those singers were not allowed to get any credit. They were given money, but they were never given credit, screen credit or otherwise. Oh, Troy, thank you. Yes, those who were killed in Germany and Afghanistan. Absolutely. At any rate, she was a little, my father described her as a little freckle-faced redhead who should have been a star in her own right. She actually did have a part in The Sound of Music, the movie. It was one of the nuns, but it was a bit part. She played, I think, Sister Margaret. At any rate, she passed away, so I want to say Kaddish for her. Yit Gedal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabba v'Alma divrach Yilutei v'Amlich Malchutei v'Chayechon v'Yomechon v'Chayediko Beit Yisrael v'Agala v'Yizman Kariv v'Imaru Amen. Thank you, Ruth. You want to remember Abba tonight. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Ul'al Me Almaya. Yitbarach v'Yishtavach v'Yitpa'ar v'Yitromam v'Yitnaseh v'Yithadar v'Yitala v'Yithalal Shemei D'Kodeshah B'Rechu Ve'ela Ninkor Birchata v'Shirata Tushbichata v'Nechemata Ta'amioran v'Alma v'Imru Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chayim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. O say Shalom B'Maromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Thank you, Karina. Thank you very much. I will close, I think, the service with, let's see. It's too sad. This is not, it's sad, but it's more somber than sad. It's Eli Eli, Halicha Lekesaria, by Hannah Simish. And one of my favorite songs. Eli, Eli, שוש של המים, ורק השמיים תפילת האדם. You're welcome, Kim. Oh Lord, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Thank you all for joining me. I'm so glad all of you were here. And I'm so glad all of you are part of my community and the community of Sim Shalom. Some of you, maybe I'll see you, no, wait a minute. Yeah, tomorrow night, I will do my best to make it to Rabbi Galat's Shabbat, which is always gives me a boost. Kind of, for me, it starts at 4 o'clock or 3:30, and my Shabbat doesn't start for a few hours after that, so it always kind of gives me a little more impetus. And have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Maybe I'll have a new book, one that's easier to read, one that is more fun. I don't know. Laila Tov to all of you, and Shavua Tov, and have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.